metabolism. If you look only at the packaging plastic, you see 49,000 tons. And you think this is a lot. Of course it's a lot. But if you put it into respect to the other plastic, you see this is not very much. And then you start to think, how can we manage the whole plastic material flow and stocks in Austria? That's what we are doing at the moment. And the latest issue was we prohibit now the landfilling of organic materials. And now this is a very dramatic impact. And we reduced in the last 5 years the flow to the landfill from 590 to 230,000 tons, and we will continue. So, packaging ordinance is not effective. Still 80% of all the plastic went to landfills. The new landfilling ordinance showed us that this is a much more effective means. This shows us also we need some studies, we need good studies on the total metabolism, and then we can make good decisions. One of the main problems of plastic are the ingredients. Plastics need softeners. Plastic needs stabilizers. The softeners are necessary to, as the name says, to make plastics soft. Some of the plasticizers, like phthalates, have endocrine character. Endocrine character means effects similar to hormones. So if you landfill plastics, these phthalates are leached out of the plastic and go to the leachate and will reach the groundwater if you don't have a groundwater collection system. And then you'll have those endocrine substances in the groundwater. So we need a solution for plastics stabilized with phthalates. Same thing with cadmium. Most of the polyvinyl chloride, PVC, used in the 70s has been heavily stabilized with cadmium. At that time it was necessary because cadmium is an excellent stabilizer and there were no replacements. Today we have other stabilizers. But today we have the old PVC material with the cadmium in there. And we need solutions for these plastic materials. We cannot landfill them. We need solutions. And again, like for the phthalates, again, a municipal incinerator is a solution for mixed plastic material. Same thing for others, fire retardants, for instance, brominated flame retardants. Same thing, we need solutions, and especially we need solutions for the total stock. What you see here in the middle column is that packaging material are not heavy stabilized. Because packaging materials are short-living materials. The long-living materials in our stock, they are heavily stabilized. So packaging materials are well suited for recycling. And they can be used for cement kilns as a fuel, because there are not many hazardous substances in them. But long-living plastics for infrastructure, it's a much different game. But we don't want to recycle cadmium. We want to recycle plastic. But here you see on the left-hand side an analysis of a plastic recycling plant. And we analyzed how much of the cadmium is in the new recycled plastic, and 3/4 of the cadmium was in the recycled plastic. That's a rather bad recycling process. Okay, what happens with the cadmium in the incineration process? 90% is in the filter ash. It shows us very clearly filter ash. Filter residue from an incinerator is something very dangerous. So we cannot landfill this stuff. We have to bring it into a suitable storage system, which maybe is an underground salt mine. There is no water intrusion for geological reasons. Or, why don't we recycle this filter dust? Because 90% is in the filter dust of the cadmium. And about 40% of the lead is in the filter dust. 60% of the zinc is in the filter dust. So we have here a means to recycle metals through incineration. This is just to give you another idea I was talking about municipal solid waste incineration, especially in MSW incinerators, but of course there are other furnaces like a cement kiln. A cement kiln here with a silo for, in this case, animal bone meal. During the BSC crisis, during the mad cow disease crisis, we were very happy that we could incinerate these cadavers from mad cow disease, pulverized in a cement kiln. Or here, next picture, I mentioned a plastic packaging material before, which is comparatively clean. Cement kilns would be good and cheap means to happy regions like Napoli, where we have a high income, gross national product, and therefore we have a comparatively high per capita waste amount. It's amazing to see that other regions who have the same amount of GDP have much lower or much higher waste amounts. And of course, this is not, this is most likely an artifact. It's an artifact of measurement. But this just as an explanation for this high scattering. Then we have other areas like Damascus in Syria or Dhaka in Bangladesh, which we investigated in this study. And we see that they, of course, have much less waste because they don't have the income to afford all that consumption. And if you look now at the amount of money which is spent for waste management, it's about 100 euro in Vienna, it's about 10 euro in Damascus, where if I'm very generous, it's about 1 euro in Dhaka. So 110, 100. And now it becomes very clear. The difficulty is we have the same objectives on a global scale. Protection of human beings, and the environment, resource conservation, aftercare-free waste management. And how can you do that with 1 euro per capita? How can you do this 10? How can you do this 100? And if incineration is the perfect means, incineration and separate collection is the perfect means for Vienna, it certainly is not the means for Damascus, and it's certainly out of reach of Dhaka. So each region has to design its own waste management based on the waste amount, the waste composition, based on its economic potential, of course based on its acceptance, based on the concert. The stakeholders can play together, and this concert is different for Vienna, for Berlin, and for Napoli. So we have to find out individual solutions, even if our gross national product is similar, maybe in those three cities I have just mentioned. I come to the conclusions. In a modern European world, where we have a large consumption, large material flows, waste management has to fulfill three objectives. Waste management must cycle. And finally, it's very important that for all materials we exploit, we take from the ground, for all materials we synthesize, that we have also a destination, a final destination on our planet, so that we don't have any harmful accumulation in water, air, biosphere, or in the soil. Thank you very much for your attention.